Hello everyone, welcome to the ITLS Academy. Today's lecture is on the topic nutrients. So generally, as we know, nutrients are of two types. First is macronutrients, second one is your minor nutrients. Macronutrients generally consist of your protein, fats, carbohydrate, and they are required in gram amount, means they are required in major quantity. They are the major source of energy as well as providing essentials nutrients such as your amino acids and energy to your body. Okay, I'm taking the first topic as a protein. Protein is an macronutrient, and it provides approximately 10 to 15% of the energy in the diet, and it is essential for the numerous structural and functional purposes and is essential for your growth and repair of the body. So they are the macromolecules consisting of amino acid chains, and if energy intake is sufficient, protein will be degraded to produce energy. Protein deficiency results in muscles wasting, stunted growth, poor wound healing, susceptibility to infection, edema, and fatty liver. So protein, as we know, provides many numerous functions in the body. Example of the different functions of the protein, such as it helps in your structural formation, means protein is important for the structure of the body, and about half of the body's protein is in structural tissue. We can as we see our skin and muscles, and these structural proteins are made up of collagen, actin, myosin. So means 25% of the body is a form of our protein. Next function is it helps in transportation. Protein act as a transport carrier in the blood and body fluid for many molecules and nutrients. Example, take your hemoglobin, your lipoprotein. And it also work as in hormones and peptides are protein only, means they are protein or amino acid chains. Take your example of inosine, your pancreatic polypeptide. It also acts as an enzyme, and all enzymes are protein, as we know. Extracellular enzymes protein includes digestive enzymes, for example amylase, intracellular enzyme that are involved in many of the metabolic pathway. Your glycogen synthetase is one of the example of enzyme. Protein also functions as your immune function. We can take the example of antibodies that are totally made up of protein molecule, and protein also involved in acute phase response to inflammation. Your buffering function, the protein albumin act as a buffer in the maintenance of the blood pH. So all over, protein is most essential nutrient in the body, and deficiency of which can cause your Kwashiorkor disease in childhood, and marasmus, or this is also occurs in children. So protein is hardly provides the energy to your body and involved in many of the functions. Okay, here are the some common indispensable essential amino acids and essential amino acids dispensable. As we know, let me remind you that proteins are generally made up of amino acids. Means what happened, the proteins are the macromolecules that consist of amino acid chain, and amino acids which are joined to each other by peptide bond, and amino acid forms a peptide chain of various length, form two amino acids. Then again the chain is elongated, and later on they coagulate, they takes the helical structure, the secondary structure, globular form, and then forms the protein collagen. So with that, amino acid is the functional unit of the protein. So some amino acids can be synthesized by the body, but others must be supplied by the diet. So these are known as indispensable, or we can say essential amino acids. and there it includes your 8 amino acid under this, which is some of the amino acids are given here as leucine, isoleucine, valine, phenylalanine, threonine, methionine, tryptophan, lysine. These are the 8 essential amino acids which are synthesized in the body or may be supplied by the some of the diet. Some of the amino acids that are only essential in specific circumstances. In childhood, 7 other amino acids are essential that are not essential in adult stage. For that, you take your example of arginine, histidine, proline, cysteine, glycine, tyrosine, glutamine. These are the some conditionally essential amino acids. Third category is your dispensable or non-essential amino acid, which includes your glutamic acid, alanine, and aspartic acid. These amino acids are essential in children. These indispensable amino acids are essential in children because they are required in amounts larger than can be synthesized because of high demand immature biological pathway or combination. So conditionally indispensable or essential amino acids only become essential in circumstances when required. For example, your glutamine. Okay. Next category is your deficiency. If energy intake is sufficient, protein will be degraded to produce energy, and therefore protein deficiency can occur when diet not provided enough protein, or we can say energy, or a combination of both. So protein energy malnutrition is a major cause of concern in developing countries and most of the countries. This includes protein deficiency results in as I told, wasting, stunt growth, poor wound healing, susceptibility to infection, edema, and fatty liver. Let's talk about the dietary source for the protein. Okay, high biological protein is supplied by, we can say, meat products, fish, egg, and milk, dairy products. Plants such as cereal and pulses are also helpful in providing the protein supplement to your body. Next, let's talk about the fat. Okay, fat are often referred to as a lipid. Lipids are described by chemists as a substance that are poorly soluble or insoluble in water but are soluble in organic solvent. Fat is the term most often used when discussing foods and lipids metabolism. Over 90% of the dietary fats are triglycerides, triglycerol, or other types of fat includes your cholesterol, phospholipids, sterol, and carotenoid. So what happened? Fats, or we can say fatty acids with a hydrogen atom on every arm, is said to be saturated, or unsaturated fatty acids that contain double carbon bonds where there is no hydrogen. So main function of the fats is to provide energy source. Means fat provides 37 kilojoules per gram energy source to your body. It provides essential fatty acids. It is a carrier for fat soluble vitamins, your A, D, E, and K, and increased palatability of improving taste perception and appearance of the food. And some fats are important constituent of cell membrane and can be converted to biologically active compound such as your steroid hormones, interleukins, thromboxanes, and prostaglandins. So fats are very essential to your body. There are mainly 5 classes of lipoprotein which vary in density. Okay, fats vary in density. Yes, take your kilomicrons, very low density lipoprotein, also known as VLDL, low density lipoprotein LDL, high density lipoprotein HDL, and lipoproteins LP. So fat consists of, as told you, fatty acids, and that have a carbon chain containing up to 22 carbon molecules in a chain. It is a triglyceride and have glycerol backbone to which which are attached with 3 fatty acids. Now, if we talk about your unsaturation and saturation, unsaturated fatty acid contains double carbon bonds where there is no hydrogen. If there is only one double bond, the fatty acids is monosaturated, and when more than double bond is present, the fatty acid will be polysaturated. Okay, high and low level of lipoprotein have adverse effect on health. High level of LDL are associated with increased health problems, and LDL is colloquially known as bad cholesterol. HDL is colloquially known as good cholesterol. So it is a part of lipid transport that fat digestion and absorption are covered in this. Lipids are not soluble in water and therefore makes a complex with apolipoprotein to form water miscible compounds. And these are the classes of lipoprotein that I have discussed, out of which LDL is known as your bad cholesterol and HDL is known as your good cholesterol. So VLDL, if we talk about very low density lipoprotein, these are generally synthesized in liver and are large particles that are rich in triglycerol. They deliver fatty acids to adipose tissue, muscles and heart, whereas where lipoprotein lipase facilitates their release from glycerol. Chylomicron mainly consist of triglycerides as they transport dietary lipids. The plasma level rise after eating and negligible in the fasting state. So chylomicron leave the enterocytes of the small intestine and enters the lymphatic system before transfer to blood vessels. If we talk about the LDL, the low density lipoprotein, the LDL contains mainly cholesterol and cholesterol esters, as they are the end products of the VLDL metabolism. So they carry approximately 70% of the plasma cholesterol and are taken up by the liver and other tissues by LDL receptor. If we're talking about the high density lipoprotein, the liver and intestine synthesizes and secrete this HDL. So HDL is involved in the reverse transport of the cholesterol from the tissue to the liver or transfer it to other lipoprotein. Lipoprotein is a complex of LDL and apolipoprotein. So here are the average intake percent of daily energy for the fat. That total fat should be 35.8 to 34.9 for female. These are the list that should be under the consideration for male and female for consumption of the fat per day. Next category is your carbohydrate. This is another macromolecule. Carbohydrates are most significant source of energy in diet. Carbohydrate that can be digested and absorbed in the small intestine, and it increases the blood glucose level and are referred to as glycemic carbohydrates. So the plant polysaccharides that cannot be digested are referred to as fiber or non-starch polysaccharides. So carbohydrates, as I told, it is a dietary source. Diet rich in fat will have low level of carbohydrate and vice versa. So the imperial Empirical formula for carbohydrate is CXH2O whole y. Glucose is the simplest carbohydrate. That's formula having C6H12O6. Simple carbohydrates can be regarded as monosaccharides, can combine to form disaccharides, for example sucrose, or 2 disaccharides or oligosaccharides, example raffinose, which is formed by 3 to 11 monosaccharides, and so on. So carbohydrates that can be digested and absorbed in the small intestine helps in the blood glucose level and are referred to as glycemic carbohydrate. Sugar is the most common example of the carbohydrate, and it is also a monosaccharide category. Next is your glycemic index. Glycemic index is a method of ranking food and carbohydrate based on their immediate effect on blood glucose level. It comes under your carbohydrate category only, your glycemic index. The FAO WHO 1998 defines the glycemic index as the incremental area under the blood glucose response curve of 150 gram carbohydrate portion of a test food expressed as a percentage of response to the same amount of carbohydrate from the standard food taken by the same subject. The standard carbohydrate is glucose that has a glycemic index of 100. So food are categorized according to this having the low glycemic index, that is the value lies between 55 or less than that. Next category is your medium glycemic index, having the glucose content as 56, lie between 56 to 69, and third one category is high glycemic index, in which the carbohydrate category lies in the amount of 70 or more. So the main source for carbohydrate that should you take in food is your cereals or cereal products, breakfast cereals, vegetables including potatoes, and potato savior snacks, sugar preserves the confectionery tables, etc. Next is your energy balance. In order to maintain the body weight, energy intake must be equal to energy expenditure. If energy expenditure exceeds energy intake, body weight will be lost. So weight loss is achieved by increased energy expenditure or decreased energy intake. To gain weight, the equation is reversed. The energy expenditure is the total energy expenditure has been following component. First is your basal metabolic rate, that is your BMR, that should be lies between 50 to 75%. Third is your physical activity, PA, that should lies between 20 to 40%, and third one is your dietary induced thermogenesis, DIT, that should lies approx have the value 10%. If we talk about BMR is the amount of energy expended by the body to maintain normal physiological function. It remains constant throughout the day under normal condition and constitute 50 to 75% of the total energy expenditure. It is the largest component of the total energy expenditure process. So BMR, if increased or decreased with increase or decrease of your body weight, it depends upon your body weight. Next is your vitamins. So let's talk about what are the vitamins. Vitamins are a group of organic compounds that have a variety of functions in the body and that are chemically different from each other. To show that the compound is a vitamin, it is necessary to show a deficiency in experimental subjects, and that can be reversed by restoring the missing compound. The name vitamin is generally derived from the vital amine. As the name suggests, these essential compounds were initially thought to be amines. So vitamin can be divided into fat soluble and water soluble groups. Vitamin A, D, E and K are fat soluble and may be stored in the body, the remainder being water soluble, and the body has the limited or no stores. So first vitamin is your vitamin A, that is also known as retinol or carotenoid. Vitamin A is the term for the biological active compounds retinol and its provitamin precursor carotenoid. Vitamin A is essential for the production of rhodospin in the rods of the retina. Exposure of light to results in the series of changes in the configuration of rhodospin which lead to the adaptation of the vision in the dark. Deficiency is indicated by the value below 10 microgram per dl and values below 20 microgram per dl are marginal. So eye changes occurs due to the deficiency, that is your night blindness present when vitamin A status is marginal, and with prolonged and severe deficiency changes to the cornea and conjunctiva occurs. It also affects your immunity. Vitamin A deficiency results in increased susceptibility to infectious diseases such as your diarrhea and respiratory infections. A deficiency of vitamin A can contribute to nutritional deficiency anemia. So the functions of vitamin A includes your essential for the production of rhodospin in the rods of the retina. It also helpful in your growth, also helps in your cell differentiation, embryogenesis, and also responsible for immune response too. So when it occurs in less quantity, obviously there occurs some deficiency and all the eye changes, immunity will be affected by the loss of vitamin A. Here are some contributed foods for vitamin A intake. It is a good source: meat and meat products, liver and liver products, vegetable, cooked carrot, milk and meat products, fat spreads. These are the most contributed foods, that is a source of vitamin A. And most concentrated source of retinol in the diet is your liver and liver products, kidney and offal oil, fish and fish liver oil, eggs. These are the most concentrated form. And most concentrated source for beta carotene in the diet is your carrot, red pepper, spinach, broccoli, tomatoes. Next vitamin is your vitamin E. Vitamin E is an antioxidant. Vitamin E is a powerful antioxidant that protects the cell membrane and lipoprotein from damage by free radical. It helps in maintenance of the cell membrane integrity. It also helps in regulation of the prostaglandins and synthesis. It helps also in DNA synthesis. So generally 8 naturally occurring forms of vitamin E are synthesized in plant. 4 is your tocopherol, that is your alpha, beta, gamma, delta, and 4 is your tocotrienol, your alpha, beta, delta, gamma. So tocopherol has the highest biological activity and is used as the standard against which the activity others forms could be measured. So vitamin E is for men is required in 10 to 0.6 milligram per day, and for women it requires in quantity 8.1 milligram per day. Good source for vitamin E is your wheat germ oil, almonds, sunflowers oil, safflower oil, hazelnuts, peanuts, butter, corn oil, etc. Next, vitamin D is your calciferol, also known as calciferol. The term vitamin D is refers by two molecules, that is your ergocalciferol and cholecalciferol. Cholecalciferol is your most effective form of vitamin D and is manufactured in the skin by the action of ultraviolet radiation by 7-dehydrocholesterol. 1 25 dihydroxy vitamin D maintains the plasma calcium by controlling the calcium absorption and excretion, and vitamin D its metabolites are also involved in the bone mineralization. Children with vitamin D deficiency, that is ricket, often have impaired immune function that is corrected by administration of vitamin D. Severe deficiency results in the ricket in children, which is characterized by reduced calcification of the bone epiphysis, and it results in skeletal deformities and bone pain and muscles weakness. So vitamin D is very much essential for the body. Severe deficiency, as I told, results in rickets in children, which is characterized by reduced calcification in the epiphysis. Here are the main source. Here are the main source for contribution of the food to vitamin D intake is your fish dishes, oil fish, meat and meat products, cereals, fat spreads, reduced fat spreads. Men required average daily intake should be 4.2 and for women should be 3.7 milligram per day. Microgram per day. And good source for vitamin D is your cod liver oil, oily fish, milk, margarine, breakfast cereal, eggs, livers. Next is your vitamin K. Naturally occurring vitamin K can be classified into two groups. The major form of vitamin K1 is phyloquinine and is found in plants, while the vitamin K2 group of compound menaquinines are synthesized by intestinal bacteria. So vitamin K promotes the synthesis of G-carboxyglutamic acid, that is your GLA, in the liver. This carboxyglutamic acid is essential part of the prothrombin factor 2 and other coagulation factors 7, 9, 10. Vitamin K is 6 essential for the blood coagulation. Other protein contains your GLA and requires vitamin K for their synthesis. This includes your osteocalcin, bone protein made up of osteoblasts. Vitamin K deficiency is characterized by poor blood clotting and results in low thrombophin activity. So vitamin K deficiency is characterized by poor blood clotting, as told you. Newborn babies are given an injection of vitamin K at birth. Infants are born with very low stores and due to sterility of their intestine do not have the bacteria producing the vitamin K. So deficiency is rare in adult but does occur in patients with the obstructive jaundice or like those that lack the bile and poor absorption of the vitamin K. So there is a good source required for you. Vitamin K is your green leafy vegetable, includes your spinach, broccoli, cabbage, vegetable oil, especially soya bean oil, eggs, meat, dairy products are the good source for vitamin K. Next vitamin is your vitamin C, also known as your ascorbic acid. Vitamin C is a powerful reducing agent, that is your again antioxidant, and is essential for many oxidation reduction reaction. It is required for the synthesis of collagen. The main protein is connective tissue and therefore essential for the maintenance of muscles, tendons, arteries, bones and skin. It is essential for normal functioning of the enzymes involved in collagen synthesis. The hydroxylation of dopamine to the neurotransmitter noradrenaline requires vitamin C. These are the functions where the vitamin C is required in your body. It is also required for the production of carnitine. Low level of carnitine are associated with the fatigue and muscle weakness. Vitamin C also enhances the absorption of iron when consumed in the same meal, and Numerous other enzymes need vitamin C, and these enzymes control many of the functions, including your synthesis of bile and the metabolism of the drug carcinogens by the liver. Depends. Various peptide hormones and releasing factors requires the activation of vitamin C dependent enzyme. And deficiency of vitamin C is characterized by the abnormalities of the connective tissue, and including poor wound healing, which are they described by the term scurvy. Weakness, fatigue, bleeding gums, skin hemorrhages, and symptoms of scurvy should be seen if there occurs any deficiency of vitamin C in the body. Here are some of the source for enhancing your vitamin C is kiwi fruit, citrus fruit, black currant, guava, mango, papaya, pepper, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, sweet potato are some of the examples are the good source for the vitamin C. Contribution of some of the food to vitamin C is your drinks contains up to 27% of the daily intake. Fruit juice, soft drink increase low calories, having up to 19 to 8% of the daily vegetable excluding potatoes contributes 22% of the daily intake of the vitamin C. Fruit, nuts, potatoes have approximately 19 to 15% of daily intake that contributes your vitamin C to your body. Next is your vitamin riboflavin, also known as vitamin B2. It is a water soluble vitamin, and riboflavin is a part of two coenzymes that are both oxidizing agents, flavin mononucleotide and flavin adenine dinucleotide, FAD and FMN. This FMN and FAD are contained in flavoprotein, which are involved in many oxidation reduction reaction in many metabolic pathways. The function of riboflavin includes it helps in the promotion of normal growth, assisting synthesis of steroid and red blood cells glycogen. It helps in the maintenance of the mucous membrane, skin, eyes, and the nervous system. It helps in aiding the iron absorption. So lesion of the mucosal surface of the mouth, angular stomatitis, ichthyosis, glossitis, and magenta tongue surface lesions of the genitalia, seborrheic skin lesions, and vascularization of the cornea. Riboflavin deficiency is often accompanied by other nutrient deficiencies. We can take an example of your pellagra. The common source for your riboflavin is you can take your milk products, semi-skimmed milk, egg, liver and kidney, yeast extract, fortified breakfast cereals could be helpful for as providing a good source for riboflavin in your diet. Next is vitamin is your niacin, also known as nicotinamide or nicotinic acid. Nicotinamide is the generic term for a group of compound that prevents the pellagra. Nicotinamide or nicotinic acid both occurs in food but have different physiological properties. It is incorporated in pyridine nucleotide coenzyme nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide NAD and nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate NADP. The coenzymes are involved in numerous oxidoreductase reactions, including your glycolysis, your fatty acid metabolism, tissue respiration, and detoxification. So, main is your deficiency of niacin. Deficiency of niacin is known as your pellagra and is classically characterized by three symptoms. That is your dermatitis. When any deficiency of the niacin occurs, what happens? Dermatitis happens. In that, skin that is exposed to the sun become inflamed, which progresses to pigmentation, cracking, and peeling. The neck is frequently involved, and the distinctive distribution of the skin lesion is known as Castle's collar. Next symptom is the diarrhea. This is often accompanied by the inflamed tongue. Next category is your thymine. Thymine forms the part of the coenzyme thymine pyrophosphate, which is involved in major decarboxylation step in the following pathways. First is your pyruvate to acetyl coenzyme at the entry of the citric acid cycle. Next is your alpha ketoglutarate to succinyl coenzyme halfway round to the citric acid cycle. Third, required in trans-ketolase reaction in the hexose monophosphate shunt. Fourth, in the catabolism of the branch chain amino acid leucine, isoleucine, methionine and valine. Fifth one is your thymine is needed for the metabolism of fat, carbohydrate and alcohol. So thymine deficiency manifests as beriberi and Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. Beriberi is usually classified as either wet cardiac or dry neurological. They are rarely occur together. Wet beriberi is the acute form of disease and is characterized by your high output cardiac failure, your bonding pulse, warm extremities and peripheral edema cardiac. Whereas your dry beriberi is your chronic form of disease and is characterized by progressive peripheral neuropathy. Foot drop is accompanied by loss of sensation in the feet and absence of knee jerk reflexes. Thymine, we can find the thymine in the source such as your cereal products, including your breakfast cereal and bread, yeast and yeast product, pulses, nuts, pork and other meats, vegetables, milk are the good source for the thymine. Next is your folate or folic acid. Folic acid is the synthetic form of the vitamin and is the parent molecule for the number of derivatives known as your folate. Folic acid is a very stable molecule with high biological activity. It is used in the fortification of the food and in supplements. Folate are involved in a number of single carbon transfer reaction, particularly in the synthesis of purine, pyrimidine, glycine and methionine. It is the essential for the synthesis of DNA and RNA. So folate derivative 5-methyl tetrahydrofolate requires vitamin B12 to enable the use of methionine synthesis in the synthesis of methionine and tetrahydrofolate. Folate deficiency results in the megablastic anemia with the abnormal neutrophil nuclei and giant platelets. There may also be infertility and diarrhea also occurs due to the deficiency. Next is your vitamin B6. There are three naturally occurring form of vitamin B6, your pyridoxine, pyridoxal and pyridoxamine. The three vitamins can be converted to coenzyme pyridoxal 5-phosphate, which is involved in amino acid metabolism, and these reactions include your transaminase 2 of amino acid to produce keto acid and synthesis of non-essential amino acids, your decarboxylation to yield biologically active amines, example neurotransmitters, adrenaline, noradrenaline, serotonin, G-aminobutyric acid and histamine. Porphyrin synthesis includes your hemoglobin. Severe deficiency of vitamin B6 is very rare, and generally you can find the good source of vitamin B6 is in meat, whole gram cereals, fortified cereals, bananas, nuts, pulses, etc. Next vitamin is your cobalamin, vitamin B12. Cobalamin is a very complex molecule that contains the cobalt. It occurs naturally in usual form. The function of vitamin B12 includes your recycling of the folate coenzyme, normal myelination of the nerves, synthesis of methionine from homocysteine, and its deficiency results in pernicious anemia, also known as megaloblastic, and a neurological problem. The anemia is morphologically the same as that seen in the folate deficiency, and biochemical tests are necessary to establish the cause. The main source for vitamin B12 is you can take egg, meat products, milk and dairy products, fish, yeast products, fortified vegetable extract, breakfast cereals. These are very helpful in developing the vitamin B12 complex in your body. Next vitamin is your biotin. Biotin is made up of bacteria and yeast. Biotin is obtained from the diet and synthesized by endogenous bacteria in the colon. Biotin is a coenzyme for several carboxylases involved in the fatty acid synthesis and metabolism. Gluconeogenesis and the metabolism are branched chain amino acids, deficiency of which is associated with the scaly dermatitis, glossitis, hair loss, anorexia, depression, and hypercholesterolemia. It is possible to include biotin deficiency by ingestion of large amount of raw egg white. So, for having biotin in your source, you can take liver, kidney, milk, eggs, dairy products. This is a good source for your biotin. Next is your pantothenic acid. The main function of pantothenic acid is it is a part of a coenzyme A, and as such is involved in tricarboxylic acid cycle. The pantothenic acid derivatives 4-phosphopantothenic is a part of acyl carrier protein. It is an essential for the reaction involved in carbohydrate and lipid metabolism. The symptom of deficiency includes your burning sensation in the feet, depression, fatigue, vomiting, and muscles weakness. Pantothenic acid is widely distributed in food, but highly processed food do not contain this vitamin. And for this obtaining vitamin pantothenic acid, you have to eat yeast, offal, peanut, meat, egg, green vegetables. I hope you have understood all the importance of macronutrients in your life, and how it affects your diet, and what is the deficiency diseases caused by these of the macronutrients. For more information regarding this, you can log on to our website www.itlsacademy.com and register yourself. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, LinkedIn, and yes, do not forget to subscribe our channel ITLS Academy at YouTube. Thank you.